Hi guys, and welcome back to Make Up My World. Today I have for you another Halloween tutorial, which is my inner storm. As you can see, a little piece of me is exposed to you guys, and it's really actually easy to do. So if you'd like to see how this was done, keep on watching. For this look, you're going to need a zipper kit. You can find these at your local drugstores. I found mine at Rite Aid, and you can also order it on Amazon. To get a good idea of where you're going to actually paint in your storm, you're going to want to play around with the zipper and see where you want it to lay on your face. You know, where the ends will start and stop, how much you might have to trim of one side of it. Just play around until you find the area that you really want it to sit, and then go ahead and mark it. I'm going to use a white eyeliner to mark where I want the zipper to fall, and I'm going to be actually doing this on the inside of the zipper because you're going to end up putting the zipper down with spirit gum that's usually included in the kit, or you can buy them separately if you need to, but you're going to actually do the painting so it resides inside of the zipper. So just use whatever eyeliner is closest to your skin tone or that won't be seen once you're done with your painting, and just use it to run along the inside of the zipper. To create my painting canvas for my storm, I'm actually going to start off with white face paint. This is always a good step to create a clean and bright canvas. So any colors that I place on top of this won't get muddied with my skin tone, and it'll help the paint to adhere better. So go ahead and use a brush, a sponge, whatever you have available to pack on the white face paint so it's nice, smooth, and opaque. Since we're going for a stormy look, I'm going to start off with a blue face paint because, you know, we're doing a sky painting, but we want different colors that are known to come along with the storm. So in this case, with the deep blue color, I'm just going to go in as if it were pieces of the sky that are poking through the storm, you know, a little bit of blue sky that you can see. So go in with different parts of the sponge to create different shapes, and randomly place blue peaks of sky through on your white canvas. Once I have those deep blue areas of the sky that I know I'm going to leave open when the storm is drawn in, I'm actually going to use a little bit more blue paint and evenly go over the rest of the white. You do want to keep in mind this is a sky scene, even though it's a stormy sky scene. So underneath it all, you do want, you know, a happy blue sky, but I still want to make sure that those places that I want the deep blue to be peeking out of, I kind of leave them to dry a bit, and so they keep their deepness and darkness. Next, I'm going in with a different textured sponge. This actually came with the kit, and it has a bit more bumps and bubbles to it, so it'll give a bit more of an irregular pattern when you use it with the paint. And I'm dipping it into black face paint. When you're working with black, be very slow and concise of where you're wanting to place it, because once you do, there is no going back. You have to kind of commit. So go in with that color and create those deep, dark, stormy clouds. I'm going over that blue bit because I really want the clouds that I'm creating to have some dimension to them and to have some movement in the sky. So I'm literally taking my time, adding some storm clouds, stepping back and taking a look, adding a bit more, and it's really just about adding layers to the scene. To intensify those bits of sky that I want poking through that really bright blue sky, I'm using a Q-tip with blue face paint, and I'm applying it in those areas under the clouds where you would see just a brief peek of the sky behind the storm. So I'm using this very sparingly, and I'm trying to blend it out as I go along so that I can get the look of the sky that I'm looking for without really taking away from the storm clouds. Blend out the blue face paint. I'm using a clean makeup sponge, and I'm just bouncing it over the top of those places where I've added paint. And again, you're just going to blend this in so that it goes into the background and is that blue sky peeking through, and the black storm clouds are still in the forefront. We're just trying to make sure that there's not a distinct line or a distinct blob. You want to make it as organic as possible. I'm using the same method with some black paint, and I'm just adding in some outer edges to the clouds, or some definite edges to the clouds, with a Q-tip and black paint. The sponge tends to lay down the color in a much more muted or blended fashion, so those areas that you really want to have deep and dark and be like the center of those storm clouds, go ahead and use a Q-tip to apply that paint. Once you're done applying that paint with the Q-tip, you're going to go back in again and blend. This time, since the paint is so concentrated, it won't just blend it out and it won't just fade into the background. It'll be more obvious. So alternate between adding paint with the Q-tip and blending it out with the sponge. When I thought about my storm, I thought about the fact that I had to create a horizon of some sort. So I'm taking the same black face paint and I'm actually making a few kind of shadows in my horizon so that there's a point of view, and whether people interpret it as black storm clouds or mountains in the distance, there's just going to be somewhere that your eye can go to so it can show how far and, you know, create some depth in the face. For this next bit, I'm using a small detail brush and white face paint to create some puffy white clouds. When you see a storm outside, you do see the deep dark grays and blacks and dark blues, but every once and again you'll see a little opening that has blue sky and a white cloud, and that creates some highlight to the sky and gives the sky some dimension. And you want to do the same thing with this storm look. So throughout all of these deep blues, blacks, and what seems to be looking like purples now, you want to add some highlight. With a bit of yellow face paint, I'm actually going to dot a little of the yellow paint in the horizon so that you can see the sun peeking through the storm. So there's always that little bit of hope in the storm, but I do want to have a bit of a yellow glow under the clouds, kind of like what you see in a sunset where it's the last rays of the day and you have that little bit of yellow and a little bit of warmth. So I'm just going to add a little bit at the bottom and then end up blending this all out. With a damp makeup sponge, I'm going in and I'm just going to blend these colors together. I don't want them to become one color. I just want to blend the edges together. So just make sure you're very gentle when you're bouncing the sponge over top of them, that it knocks down the color some and blends them into one another, but it doesn't take away the true hues of the paint, and it still leaves a streak or a nice faded reference to the colors that you laid down. With the makeup sponge, I'm going back in with a bit more black to deepen up those storm clouds and a bit more of that contrast and shadow back in. It's really going to be a little bit of light, a little bit of dark, and just playing until you get the effect that you want. And now for the lightning. I absolutely love thunder and lightning storms, and when I thought about doing this look, I had to include some lightning. And really I'm going to use that big huge black storm cloud at the top as the point that it starts, and I'm using white liquid eyeliner to create the actual lightning bolt. So this is really just the fun part. It's up to you how your lightning looks, how many legs that you give it. It's just playing around, wiggling the brush from side to side, getting that really jagged line, but it's a really bright white liquid liner so that it's an obvious lightning bolt. Now that our storm scene is done, it's a time to apply the zipper. You can just follow the directions on the package of your zipper kit for how to adhere it to your face. Personally, I use the glue that's included in the kit. It's called Spirit Gum. You come with a little disposable paintbrush that you can dip into it, and I really just paint the whole zipper from top to bottom to make sure I have a good coat there, and then I press it into my skin. Be very careful when you're applying the zipper to your skin. You want to make sure that you get it lined up really nicely before you actually let the zipper hit your skin. It's covered in adhesive on the side, so you don't want to blur or to smudge the paintwork that you just did. Do one side first, press it down little by little, and then do the other side. You'll notice if you need more adhesive in certain spots because it'll come away from your face. Just take your time while doing this and just keep holding it, pressing it, and then you'll get it to stick where you want it to stick. Just take your time. It can be a little frustrating because the zipper is heavier and it wants to move. Just make sure you just press it in firmly. You don't have to get every bit of it down for the first go around. You can kind of just push in certain spots. Then you can go and trim those areas or add more adhesive to those areas where you feel it's not as secure. For the non-storm side of the face, I'm just going to go ahead and do my regular makeup. I'm applying a NYX Jumbo eye pencil across my lid as a base for the eyeshadow that's going to follow. Once you have it down, just blend it out with your fingers so it's nice and smooth. For my transition color, I'm using Dance the Tides from NYX. It's one of their matte eyeshadow singles, and I'm using it on a fluffy blending brush to create my transition color. This is a perfect orangey brown that just adds a bit of warmth to the crease. For my brow highlight, I'm using my Kat Von D Chrysalis palette, and I'm using the highlight color Lifelike. I'm just going to add this right underneath the arch of my brows, and I'm really going to use it to soften the Dance the Tide color I just applied. It helps to blend out the color and also gives a nice, healthy highlight under the brows. For a wash of shimmer across the lid, I'm using Lunar Lights from the same palette. It's a beautiful white crystally color, and I'm using a fluffy shadow brush to apply it right to the inner corner, and I'm dragging it about 3/4 of the way. It goes really well with the brightness of our lightning bolt. Now that we have our neutrals down, I'm taking this bright glittery blue shadow from the Chrysalis palette called Entombed, and I'm using it to deepen the outer corner. With a small blending brush, I'm just applying the color exactly where I want it, and I'm creating that really deep, dark outer V. To further deepen the outer corner, I'm going into the palette again into the deep dark navy color called Torrance. On a clean blending brush, I'm just going to keep doing little circles to build up that color and to spread it all the way out in my outer corner. It's going to create a beautiful cat-like effect, but it's also going to elongate and make the eye look a bit more sultry. You might find that the zipper piece is a little stiff, so it helps to hold it down while you're applying your makeup to your opposite eye, or you can choose to do this eye makeup look first and then your zipper part second. And of course, you're going to go in with a clean blending brush to catch any fallout and to blend out that outer corner. With a small smudge brush, I'm going to get back in with that color Torrance to the lower lash line. With some black eyeliner, I'm going to go ahead and line the lower waterline, and I'm also going to be lining the upper waterline to make sure that the lash lines are really deep and dark. It's really easy for your lashes to get lost in a look like this. Now it's time for my signature black liquid liner. I'm going in with my Kat Von D tattoo liner in the color Trooper, and I'm starting in the inner corner as usual. I just create a really thin line as close to the lashes as I can, and I really want to make sure that this is nice and dark and deep. And when I get to the outer corner, I'm going to do as I usually do and create a small flick. I use the outer corner of my eye as a reference point, and I just simply drag the product up, and then I connect it with the inside of it by going from the tip into the middle of the eye. As usual, I'm adding some black mascara to the upper and lower lashes, and I am not doing this on the storm side since I want my lashes to kind of disappear. With my Shade Light contour palette, I'm going to go in and contour my cheekbones. So into the hollows of the cheeks I go with my bronzing powder. I do contour across the jawline to kind of take away from my chubby cheeks and my chubby jawline. And I also add some bronzer into the hairline to add some depth as well. It's kind of fun to contour this way since I'm only having to do half of my face and I use half of the product. To finish out my normal face routine, I added a bit of berry blush to my cheekbones, and I always concentrate the color on the back half of my face since it's so chubby. And then I'm going in with a regular highlighter. I'm using my ColourPop highlighter for my cheekbones, my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and on my cupid's bow just to give a little bit of light. For my lip color, I wanted to keep the lips extremely nude, so I'm using this MUA lip color in nude. It looks almost like my skin tone. The brush on this product is atrocious. I keep having to kind of bite it down or push it down with my lips to keep the bristles together since they are those plasticky, stiff bristles. But the formulation and the color is just amazing, so I'm actually going to keep using this product just probably with a lip brush. I'm going back in To apply the color all the way through my lips, I wanted to keep them nice and nude, but still really beautiful and warm. Well, that's my completed Inner Storm tutorial. I hope you guys like this quick and easy Halloween look and give it a try. If you do, send me a picture on Facebook or Instagram. As always, please be kind to one another and be kind to yourself, and don't ever be afraid to be your perfectly imperfect you. Thanks guys, I'll see you later. Bye for now. Thank you for watching. Click on the video above to get another glimpse into my world. Don't forget to visit my website, makeupmyworld.com, for more details on me and the products used today. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. My details are below. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.